Hey folks, welcome back. It's June 30th, and most people have their minds on something completely different. But I've had a number of people ask me about the situation where I recently announced that one of my viewers told me they had somehow gotten in touch with USCIS and found out that they had been denied, yet they hadn't received a letter. Again, they can't simply deny you without a letter. You will get a letter of denial. So that raised the question, have they denied cases? Well, I suspect by this point they probably denied someone. And why would they deny people? Well, drug use, criminal convictions. These are usually big things that will prevent you from coming over. I don't think it'll be a case of people unable to prove persecution, either past or future persecution, which was a lot of people worrying about. I don't really think that's an issue. I think that these denials, when the letters arrive, will most likely be tied to the things I've talked about in the past: criminal convictions and or drug use. This is the United States is taking a risk, letting people come into our country. And this is what the government's supposed to do, is have due diligence to ensure that the people that we're letting come in our country, we're not just letting anybody come in here. I mean, it's important for the USCIS to do its job, which is first and foremost to protect America. That's why they're Customs and Immigration Service, and their job is to protect American Americans. So a lot of South Africans have a very laissez-faire attitude towards drug use. They're not alone. There's plenty of people in the Netherlands and in Germany and even here in the U.S. who have a laissez-faire attitude towards drug use. But drug use, illicit drug use, is a very serious issue. So there will be denials. I've said that before, and this really pisses some people off, but that's the reality. There will be denials, people who make themselves ineligible through their actions or their past actions. So what about these denials? Where are the letters? Well, I don't know, but I have a feeling that we're probably seeing them at some point. Who knows how soon that may be, but you will get letters if you've been denied. Now, the one thing that seems to disappear is you used to have the ability to appeal back to the person who denied you. Apparently, that opportunity is no longer available. That's been removed. At least that's the last I heard about that. So if you do get a letter of denial, that's going to be unfortunate. Will there be a lot of them? I don't know. I don't know if there'll be a lot of them. I hope there's not a lot of them. I can't imagine that many people would make themselves ineligible. I know some people previously made themselves ineligible and weren't even allowed to pursue the application as such to get into the program. But the bottom line is here, once again, I've talked about this several times before. And the reason I'm talking about it now is because I've been asked multiple times since I made that video, do we have any update? I don't have an update for you as such, but what I can tell you is that the people denied will get letters. And those letters will be coming out. So the question is, why haven't they gotten them yet? Has nobody been denied? Well, at this stage, I strongly think that some people have been denied. It's been a long time. And so why haven't the letters come out? Well, folks, you got to think about this for a second, okay? Number one, the program was suspended. Remember, I worked in government, I worked in the intelligence community, and there's a little thing called lawyers that get involved here, you know? I don't know if this is true, but it's possible that when the program was suspended last year, there was no program. So was there a legal basis to deny people or to approve people? Well, President Trump issued an executive order. The executive order allowed South Africans to come over. I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but I suspect there might be some sort of tie between the original program and his executive order, which allowed for South Africans to come over. And maybe it took some time for these legal minds to sort things out. I know that in the intelligence community, when we're trying to release things, the lawyers look at everything. In the Army, we do operations. The commander's right-hand man is always an attorney to making sure that we're not violating the laws of war, the rules of warfare, and such. So that could play a role here. Who knows? Possibly. But the bottom line is that eventually there will be letters coming out, and maybe sooner than later. I mean, we're coming to the end of the fiscal year. I don't think they would have held them to the end of the fiscal year just to release them at the end of the fiscal year. But again, I think it might have something to do with the nature of this program. It is an in-country program, and we haven't done one of these recently. So as I've said all along, and I don't have the insight of this, but I believe that I'm not trying to defend the actions, but I believe that the U.S. government's a bit rusty at this, and it's taken them time to sort these things out. Much as I predicted last year when I said that they did the PRM email to get a sense of how many people, then they did the statement of interest to get this program kicked off. And they didn't do the intake questionnaire until November 4th. And that's when, after several months, they finally got their hands around this and made an intake questionnaire, which made you answer a bunch of questions, which saved them an awful lot of time. It also gave them all the information digitized, so it was easier to manipulate and put in the fields in any of their databases to process people. But it took them, 6 months? February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Well, it took them 9 months before they finally got to that stage. So again, this is not something the U.S. government does all the time, so it may just be a bit rusty. And it may be the same thing with the denial letters. But for those who expressed interest a long time ago to get a denial letter, that's going to be crushing if they want to come to the U.S. And I'm sure there are going to be some people that are very unhappy when they get letters. But the letters will come. They have to give them to you. It's required. So I just want to update people. I don't have any new information, but I'm giving you a little bit of insight into what possibly could be going on regarding denials for the refugee programs. There you have it, folks, on June 30th, as events unfold in South Africa. At this hour, pretty quiet, but it's early days in South Africa at 7 a.m. Things aren't going to kick off until at least 9, probably. Cheers.